Okay guys, so for this unit we are going to be doing science, and we're going to be talking about weather, climate, and the water cycle. And throughout this unit we'll be learning about a bunch of fun stuff, but we need to set up our interactive notebook first. You're going to use the same notebook that you had for your social studies, and you're just going to put this one directly behind it. Okay? So, your very first page after your social studies should be your science page. You're going to need to trim it in order for it to fit. Remember, we don't want anything protruding from the notebook. So everything that you put in here, we pretty much want to fit. If it sticks out, trim it some more. Okay? So, again, this goes right behind your social studies in your interactive notebook. Okay, so it'll go social studies and then science. Alright? This is just about placement. You're not writing anything, you're simply placing everything where it needs to go in this hyperdoc. Okay, last time people got very confused with social studies. We were simply just placing in this hyperdoc. Okay. So again, your very first page, you just need to put on there. I am using double-sided tape. If you're someone who purchases double-sided tape, please do not use it incorrectly. Both sides are sticky, okay? So you need to make sure that if you use double-sided tape, it goes on the back, not the front, or else it will stick to other pages. So this is your very first page. Some of us last time lost points because we did not include page numbers. Okay, very first page, and you're going to want to put your name and your number. Okay, so you put your student number. If we flip our notebook over, okay, if we flip it over, we want to use front and back. Some of us last time did not use front and back, and we wasted a lot of page space. Okay, so we want a table of contents. Last time people did not go through and fill this out. Okay, but you want to fill it out with all of your page numbers and what's on those pages. Okay, so page number 1 would be cover. Page number 2, table of contents. Page number 3 will be your power words. Okay. And from here, I stopped filling it out with you guys because depending on how many pages your power words takes, your pages might be a little bit different than mine. Okay. So that being said, I'm not filling it out all the way with you guys, but you need to go back through at the end and label everything, okay? So after your table of contents, you're going to start your power words, and I'm going to call it power words. Okay. And I'm going to cut all these out and then we'll place them. Okay. Now that I've got them all cut out, I can start placing them around my page. It doesn't matter which order they go in, just that they get on the page. You will notice that there were 3 that said create your own. Okay, we will be using these. Okay, so you're going to put these in your notebook, and later in the hyperdocs you'll figure out what you need to write on them. Okay, and they will be for our water cycle vocabulary words. Okay. So we're going to place these all around your notebook. Now if you're, you should be using glue, but if you are someone who has double-sided tape, you cannot put the double-sided tape over the front. It has to go on the back or else it will stick in ways that we don't want it to stick. Okay? Remember, this is a flap, so it does not get all the way glued down. You want to be able to stick it somewhere, like I'm going to stick it right up here, okay? And if I lift it up, I can still write words underneath it, okay? So all of your power words are flaps, all right? Every single one is a flap. So go ahead and place all these down. Remember, this is a flap. It does not get glued all the way down. Okay, so I did go through and I placed them. Noticed again, this is just the hyperdoc we're replacing. So there's nothing written underneath them. I could not fit them all on, so there are some on the second page, and that's okay. I've titled it page 4. So on my table of contents, I'm going to include power words, because that is my 4th page. So I'm going to put a 5 down here in the corner. And the page that you will need for page 5 will be a page that looks like this. I'm going to cut out all of these pieces. You need this piece up here. You need all of these pieces on here. And we're going to cut them out. And go ahead and pause this, cut all your pieces out, and then we'll place them. Okay, so after all of your pieces are cut out, this is essentially what you want your notebook to look like. So you put your weather versus climate all the way at the top, and then you put all the other pieces exactly like this. They all get glued down, so none of them are flaps. You might run into the issue where I did, where over here in this corner it covers up part of my 5. I can either cut that bit off right there because there's no words that will be affected, or I could just redraw my 5 over it. I'm just going to trim the paper here because not a big deal, okay? So again, all of this gets laid completely flat and glued down or taped completely down. Alright, on to our 6th page. After this is all glued down, 6 over here in my corner, okay? And you will need the page that looks like this, that says weather instruments. Go ahead and cut all your pieces out, pause this, and we'll place them. And there we go. This page is going to be called weather instruments. These do not get glued all the way down. They have tabs. So you're going to want to go through and put all of your tabs in, or glue all of them down by the tab, okay? So you should be able to lift it up and right underneath it when you're done. Okay, so this is what it should look like when everything is done. And I can just simply lift my flaps and right underneath them. I'm going to put page 7 down here in the corner. Okay, and you're going to need to go into your packet, and it'll be towards the back of your packet, and you're going to need to find the article that says the weather. But as for now, we need to cut it out, and it is its own page. So we're going to cut it out and we're going to place it. You can glue it all the way down. Alright, once this is glued completely down, you are going to turn it over to go to page 8. You need a page that looks like this. It says climate, and it is all about climate, okay? And so go ahead and pause this, cut out all your pieces, and then we will place them together. Okay, once you have your pieces cut out, you will have one piece that looks like this. If you cut it out, you know, no big deal. But you will have a piece that looks like this that you don't actually need. It's just directions, and so you're going to toss this as part of your scraps, okay? So you have your 3 pieces here. This is going to be the top. It's all about climate, okay? And then this is going to be your key. When you're filling out this page, you will have to color code it a very specific way, just like I go over with the colors on my lecture that I do. But you'll figure that out later on in the hyperdocs. Again, this one is just about placing your items. And so every single one of these get glued all the way down. None of them are tabs. Alright, after those are all glued down, you're going to go right on to page 9 and go ahead and place that. Don't forget to label and say page 9 over here in the corner. Okay. And for page 9, You will need, again, another reading. It says connivance right up at the top, okay? And so you're going to want to cut this all the way out, and it gets glued all the way down. So there are no tabs behind it. Going on to page 10, need the page that says the reason for the Earth's seasons or whatnot, okay? And so you're going to glue all of this down, but first off, go ahead and cut out your pieces and we'll place it together. Okay, so you will notice that this is just generally two big pieces here. There's a part that says directions. We're going to cut this part off because we don't need that. These get glued all the way down. When you're gluing this one down, you need to make sure that the lines face underneath, okay? So where you would write on this line like that, okay? But go ahead and glue these completely down. 11 and 12. So you need this one for 11 where it's talking about what are the causes, what is extreme weather, right? So you're getting what it is, and then the different types. And then, so that's page 11, and then this will be for page 12. Just pay attention to that this one has what the causes are and what it is on it. This one does not. This will be the next page. Okay? So when you're cutting this one out, because it all gets glued completely down, I feel like it's kind of silly to cut it out individually for this page. You could just cut around the edges like I did and glue it completely down. If you are going to, if you want to cut out every single piece to not have these lines and such and things, you can. I just feel like that will take a little bit more of your time. Okay, and again, this page kind of cuts off our 11 down here. It is part of a picture, but it's not super important because it's mostly just black because of the way it printed. So I just trimmed it off right there, so you can still see my page number. So I'm going to go ahead and glue this one completely down like this because, again, they're not tabs. I'm going to cut this page out the exact same way that I cut the last one out. Okay, so once you have page 12 all the way glued down, page 13, tornadoes and hurricane. And you'll need to cut this all the way out, and then we'll place it. Alright, once you've got this page cut out, you're just going to glue it completely down. Alright, after that page is done, we are on page 14. So I'm going to put a 14 down in the corner. You will need to find the reading that says drops, okay? And that will be its own page. We're going to cut this one out and glue it completely down just like we did with the last. Alright, we're going to go on to page 15. You need the page that's all about global warming for this one. When we're cutting this page out, we need to cut out each box individually. Make sure you do not cut off these arrows because it will tell you to where to place all your boxes. Okay, so cut out all of your pieces and then we will place them together. Okay, so now once you have all of your pieces, we're going to place. And so I'm going to put this one up at the top. I did cut off the section that had directions because we simply just don't need that. And so then I did not cut off my arrows, as you can see, and I kind of have it's a little squiggly, that's fine. And we're going to make these fit. Keep in mind that this right here is a flap. So these you will not place all the way down. You will be able to write underneath it, okay? We want to be strategic in our placing of these and kind of put the ones that are smaller in those sections. And you'll know if these are upside down because the line should be up top of the rectangle, not below it. We probably need a pretty small one, and you're going to want to like mess around with how this is on here to get them to fit. Okay, so when you're placing that is what you'll be looking out for. Okay. Okay, so I did have to kind of move my pieces around to make them fit properly, and I would glue it down one piece at a time. I would place it like this and then glue it down one piece at a time, because it is a little bit difficult to get all the pieces to fit on the page, because again, we don't want anything sticking out of our notebook. Okay, so after I placed everything down, all of these are flaps. I can write underneath them. Alright, we're going to be going on to page 16. So I'm going to write 16 down here in the corner, and you need to find the paper that says climate change, okay, and that will be your page 16, so cut it all the way out and glue it down just like we've done with all the other reading pages. Now we are going on to page 17. You need the page that says the atmosphere, and when we're cutting this page out, we're going to need to be a little bit careful because you are going to want to go in and kind of cut around some of this, so we'll cut this page together. First off, we don't need this middle piece that says directions. Okay, so we're going to ignore that. We're going to cut this piece directly off, and I'm going to go through and I'm going to cut around some of this, because otherwise it will not fit on your page. Okay, so I'm going to cut around it. And we're going to cut kind of close to that first set of lines. And then now it should fit, and it does. Okay, it does, it does, it does. So now this will fit quite nicely down here, and then this top part, again, we don't need the part that says directions. So I'm going to scrap the part that says directions. I just want the part that's talking about the atmosphere. Okay. And then that will go right up here at the top. Okay. And it almost wants to come off, so I'm going to take this side and I'm going to cut closely to the letters, just so I make sure it doesn't come off my page. And I'm going to glue it down exactly like this. So both of these get glued down completely. They are not tabs. We're going on to page 18, okay? And you will need the one that says atmosphere and air temperature. You're going to cut it all the way out and glue it down just like we've done with all the other reading pages. Alright, once that is glued down, we're going on to page 19, okay? And 19 looks like this. You need it where it says clouds. You do not need this part. You can cut out the word clouds if you'd like, but we do need this part. So when we're cutting out this page, make sure you do not accidentally cut off any of the stars. So, clouds. Okay, when we glue this one down, you are going to want to flip the star pieces up. Okay, so I want to make sure it says types of clouds. Okay, and I'm going to put it kind of in the middle. But notice that all of these are little flaps. Okay, So when I'm going over the types of clouds, I can write my notes. Okay, and there are flaps. Alright, and that's page 19. So once you have page 19 glued down, keep in mind your flaps, you're going to go on page 20. Alright, for page 20, I need to make sure I put my page number. And you will need to find the page that says clouds and precipitation. You're going to cut it all the way out and glue it down just like you have all of the other readings. Okay, now we are going on to page 21. Okay, and that will be the water cycle. Alright, so cut out all of your pieces and then we'll place it together. Okay, now that you've got all of your pieces, you are going to want to place them. So water cycle will go up here to your title. This gets glued completely down. Overview gets glued completely down. And then this one is a tab. You can tell because of right here. So when I glue this part down, I should be able to lift it up and right underneath it. So go ahead and get that glued down. Okay, so once it's all glued down, this is what it should look like. You can write underneath that, and these are just glued completely down, but we have a flap here. Page 22, you want to put your page numbers down here, and you are looking for the page that has the actual water cycle on it. Okay, so this gets cut out largely as its own page, and then these pieces get cut out in a specific order to go on it. Okay, so we're going to cut out this page. We might have to do some trimming to make it fit. Trim in a way that kind of makes sense. So I kind of tried to trim as I went along, and that worked out. So I cut off a little bit extra. Ooh. I cut off a little bit extra as I was cutting it out, and this will fit perfectly. So you're going to want to glue that page down, and then we will come back together and cut out the other pieces and place them. Okay, we're still on the same page. We're just going to cut these little boxes off because they go in specific boxes here. So cut all these little pieces, and we will place them together because they go in a very specific order. Okay, now that we've cut out all of our pieces, they go in a very specific order. Okay, so heat from the sun goes right here. Okay, and evaporation goes right here. These are flaps as well, so don't glue anything yet, just place them. And ocean goes right here. And collection / runoff goes right here. Right. Condensation goes right here. And precipitation goes right here. Okay, they go in a specific order. Alright, and all these are tabs, which means there's this little slit right here, and when I glue that little slit down, I should be able to open these up and right underneath them. Okay, so go ahead and get them all glued down, and we'll go on to the next page. Alright, when these are all nice and glued down, they are all tabs. Okay, they are all flaps for you to write underneath. Okay, we will be going on to page 23, which is our very final page. And so the last page you should have is what's called the water cycle of the reading. You're going to make sure you label 23. Okay, cut it all out, glue it down. Okay, now that we have our final page nice and glued down, you're going to want to go back through all of your pages that you've done. Okay, we have all of these lovely pages that we've done that we can add some color and pizzazz to, okay? In fact, you'll have to color your favorite page and upload it as a picture, okay, for your hyperdoc. Make sure that you do all of your components, and you're going to want to go back through in your table of contents and finish labeling all your pages. We have 23 pages, okay? So go back through, make sure you have labeled all of your quarters, make sure you fill out your table of contents, add some color, okay? And then go on to the next part, the next couple hyperdocs, okay?